Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. For the last 24 hours or so, I've been trying to wrap my head around this. This is Donda, and it was finally released on August 29th, or leaked. Apparently, the record company released it without Kanye's approval. Who even knows what's going on there, but just another thing to add to the legend of Donda. Kanye's 10th studio album, it follows 2019's Jesus is King. I did not listen to that record, chose not to go down that rabbit hole with Kanye, and honestly thought I was getting something very different with Donda. I chose not to read anything about it. I didn't watch any of the listening parties. I wanted this to be a surprise in its entirety. So imagine my astonishment when I saw a runtime of an hour and 47 minutes, oh my gosh, on a Sunday. And it makes sense. I hadn't been to church in a while, and folks, Kanye's taken us to church. I think this change seems very permanent. Kanye is a changed man. I have no objections to that either. And there's a lot of really wonderful, fantastic things about this record. I don't find it off-putting in any way because it is driven by religious content. I grew up going to Catholic church. I will say that Donda has a runtime of roughly a half hour longer than your average Catholic mass, so I just want to throw out a little perspective there. But I've read the Bible a ton. Augustine's Confessions, a great piece of work. I've enjoyed that a couple times over the years. My senior seminar at U of A, actually, I did English Lit for one of my majors, and my senior seminar was the didactic principles of the Bible, led by Professor John Ulrich. Just a wonderful man, a wonderful class, and his perspective, the Bible is a book of parables. It's a book of tales that are designed to teach us lessons. And I loved that was the driving force of that class. Prompted a lot of really good conversation. It was a great semester in that room with him and my other classmates. So Kanye on this record, there's a number of great elements musically and lyrically where he's just lovely, poignant reflections that are just really honest. You can tell that reflecting on his past, his lifestyle, the decisions that he's made, some regret there. And some not, obviously. In making mistakes, we learn life lessons. So it is ultimately hard to regret some of these decisions, some of the things that can happen to us over the course of our lives, if ultimately we become better people as a result of those things. So, I mean, this type of brevity is running through this record. And tracks 4 through 8, Off the Grid, Hurricane, Praise God, Jonah, Okay, are really solid. Just, I mean, probably could argue that it's some of Kanye's best work there. I think the great thing about this album, for all its grandiose nature at 27 songs and an hour and 47 minutes, the music's very austere. It's very stripped back and minimal, and I liked that contrast. I thought that was a very interesting element to this record. Donda. It's literally how the first song goes. It opens up with Donda chant. It's like a minute intro of that. My biggest beef with this record is the amount of filler. That intro included. No one's going to listen to that intro except for Kanye West. Everybody after their first play of this record in its entirety is never going to listen to that track. It's like this thing, I'm on the side of this was leaked. This is not Donda in its entirety. I've heard that the album release parties were really to get feedback from a production standpoint on what was working and what isn't. A lot of stuff on this record isn't working. Songs like Jail and God Breathed, the second and third tracks, great stuff going on there. Jail especially. It's got this Eastern-inspired orchestration. I mean, really cool violins that just driving the entire track. Jay-Z makes an appearance. Apparently, DaBaby was supposed to have a verse in there. His verse is on the part 2, which the last 4 tracks on this record are just remakes of 4 tracks that are already in the record. So I kind of question that from a runtime standpoint and just like what is going on with the construction of this record, as a piece of art. Because it's throwing it off, in my opinion. God Breathed is, got this simple bass drum and kind of this like industrial / gospel element to it, which is very interesting as well. So both Jail and God Breathed, there's a lot of great things that are going on, but I feel like just lost potential. Like these songs weren't finished. And a big part of this problem with this record is that a lot of it feels that way. You get into the 4 through 8 tracks. I mean, just a real solid run of songs through this thing, and then you get to Junya, which is kind of a throwaway track in my opinion. Believe What I Say is the following track. The 10 song is great. It's got this Lauryn Hill sample, this really funky bass. Just a gem, like right in the middle of 24, Remote Control, and Moon, which are not great tracks. Heaven and Hell's interesting, but honestly, that leads, that I could care less for that track. And then Donda belongs, obviously, conceptually with where the record is going, being an elegy to his mother, basically. The Donda track, it fits. It just feels so superfluous at that point with all those other songs running before it. I just feel like that this record really could have benefited from chopping half the songs, including, New Again, Tell the Vision, Lord, I Need You. 17th track, Jesus Lord, is this incredible track. Almost like a 9-minute runtime. And Kanye just telling a story. It reminded me of a couple of tracks off the new Tyler, the Creator record, honestly. I really dug the vibe of that record, the storytelling. We talk about those poignant lyrical reflections that run throughout this record. That's a big moment on this album. It could be one of the coolest songs that Kanye has put together, in my opinion. And I really dig just the vocal outro, all the elements to it. There's this spoken word coda that is really cool and gives this track, just an amazing feel. Tell the Vision is this song that it's got this great piano, but it never pops off. And the moment you listen to it, it just feels like a troll. It feels like a minute of 40 seconds of like hype of getting ready for this song to like do its thing. You're listening to it build, and it just falls flat. Come to Life is a pretty cool song. Pure Souls, those are the 22nd and 21st tracks respectively. This thing is just, it's too much. It's too bloated. There's enough amazing material here that it's absolutely worth listening to at least once in its entirety. But with the 27 tracks, the almost 2-hour runtime, this is probably going to be a 4 vinyl package. So there's not enough here that's going to want me to spend $100 on this record. I can't please this. I'm going to have to take a vinyl pass on Kanye's new record. I do recommend listening to it, though. Like I said, there is some amazing music here. I just wish this effort would have been more focused. And who knows? Like I've mentioned before, the record company apparently put this thing out without his approval. I think it could have just been more than the rumor is that he was hanging on the record company not wanting to include the verse from DaBaby in jail. But I think it has a lot more to do with that. And I think that this record in its entirety is a more cohesive effort with fewer songs. I'm having a hard time believing that this is the final product. But I hope you do enjoy listening to this. I hope that the good stuff on here resonates with you, because it did with me. Like I said, there's some tracks that I'm a big fan of, especially the song Jesus Lord. It's pretty solid there. But passing on the vinyl, hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the live show when it returns on September 12th. And we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.